bunch of fucking retards in this place. You do. You walk around the booths, they have no idea. So, we want to feature benefit the boats where we're giving features with benefits and why they're benefits, not just it's a feature, yes, it has a seat. Well, everything has a fucking seat, guys, right? It does this, it does that. Why does it do this? Why does it do that? So we want to take it an extra step further. So, we'll start in front of the, this boat's probably the easiest way to go. We're going to end up on the M65 real quick, but we'll just start right here. Because it's, the M65, the M45, to bring back to like the car analogies, because I like to use car analogies, because people fucking understand them. People understand car analogies. They don't understand boats, especially new boaters. So our M series line, we like to say we fit in. We're kind of like the SUV. It's kind of crossover type boats. Other manufacturers out there are going to say we have a deck boat, we have a crossover. Well, we have a true crossover boat. A lot of the boats you'll see that are this style in that crossover, that SUV style, they're going to say coastal edition. Well, we boat on the coast, okay? So anybody that has coastal edition on their boats, probably the first thing you want to think that might draw a red flag. That coastal edition, why do you need a coastal edition? So most of those companies, this crossover boat is a boat that they sell a lot of on the lakes. They don't normally design these boats to handle the rough water. Where at Monterey, we've taken the extra step and we've designed these boats to handle the rough water. So you have, what we do on all our M series boats is we run the beam forward. Okay, so the boat's almost as wide in the bow as it is in the stern. Allows you to get a lot more room inside the bow of the boat. But where it stops and where we start to differ ourselves from everybody else, this setup in here and the boat being squared up in the front and these sponsons coming down, they're only for structural integrity in the build. They have nothing to do with the way the boat runs, the way the boat rides, the way the hull is constructed. It's for structural purposes only. It's to give you room in the boat and depth in the boat. Where our competition, these all come into play as far as how the boat rides, how the boat performs, and how the boat handles. They do give you some added advantages. So when you are coming off of waves, unlike a fish boat where you have a big bow flare on most of them, these sponsors will give you an area to turn water down so the water's not spraying up inside the boat. But when you come up in the front of the boat, you want to point out, like on the M65 and the M45, you've got LED docking lights up front. They're standard on the boat. They're not an option. Most of our competitors have them as an option, if they're even available at all. You have a stainless steel hookup on the front here with a nice catch plate on there. Again, standard on the boat. It's not an option. Where on most of the competitors, it's either not available or it is an option. But when you look down up underneath the boat, pull this out of here real quick. This is the M45. M65 is similar in a way, but you have an actual deep V running surface underneath the bottom of this boat, where most of the boats in this class are going to have a much flatter V to them. They're going to have a lot less of a degree of entry up in the bow, but they're also not going to have full-length reverse radius chines running the full length on the bottom, the full length on the inner, and the full length on the outer. Now this outer side shelf starts off pretty much at nothing, and it works its way back all the way through, and it's about the width of your palm of your entire hand when you get basically past midship. These things do a couple things for you. One thing that they do for you is they get the boat up out of the water very quickly. So when you hit the throttle on the boat pops up and runs. It doesn't get a big bow lift and then falls off. Okay, another thing that these things do is once the boat's up on the water, they're creating lift. So they're keeping the boat up on plane at slower speeds, lower RPMs, giving you better fuel economy. The next thing that they do is when the boat's at a rest, they act like kind of like football cleats in the water. So the boat's not doing this, it's gripping in and it's keeping the boat from, making it much more stable all the way through. Again, these sponsons coming out are gonna turn water down for you, but you see how big the V is back underneath here? I mean, you got a real deep V running surface on this boat, where the competition falls off a lot shorter on here because they don't have it. They're boats that were designed for lakes, where we have boats that are designed for the saltwater application and the rough waters. Because coastal boating's rough. It's rough out here. It's not Lake George. It's the Jersey Shore. Saturday afternoon on the Barnegat Bay, it's a shit show. You know, it gets nasty out there. So you're gonna have to, you want a boat that's gonna run and be able to handle all that. Keep everybody dry, keep everybody safe, and have yourself a nice, a good time on the afternoon. Couple things you want to point out on the outside of the boat. Where these gel coats transition, look how crisp those lines are on there. All the way through. Most of our competition, when they do double colors, there's a sticker on here. Because our craftsmen at Monterey are so skilled at what they do, these things come out perfect all the way down. You got a big heavy duty high impact rub rail on here with a stainless steel insert. But when the whole deck is put together on all the Monterey boats, they actually go around and scribe a line on the outside of the deck lid and the inside. So when they put the boats together, where you end up seeing stress cracks on a lot of boats all the way along the lines, they scribe that line in, so when they put the screws in, it alleviates all the pressure. So 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you don't start seeing stress cracks all over the place like you will on most other boats. You see the gel coat work is spot on the money. I mean, even where it comes up, up on the top, it's straight, it's crisp. There's no waves in it. You look all the way through, and that's gel coat. It's not paint. Paint's easy to get straight and crisp. You can tape it, you can mask it. This is get sprayed into a mold, so it's real crisp. It's real, sweet all the way through. You want to work your way, but you want to point this kind of stuff out, because you spend a lot of money on a boat.
I think one of the other things, we learned this a few weeks ago when we were down at the factory. Each one of these boats has a book that's probably about an inch and a half thick that requires 200 people to sign off throughout the manufacturing process that this was done correctly and inspected by a certain number of people.
Real good point. And that is every phase of the construction process is signed off on the last person that touched that. So from a quality control standpoint, you knew who built it, who touched it, when they did it, and how they did it.
And then if there's something wrong, they don't just pull one person off the line and fix it. Whoever did that piece has to come off the line to fix it. They don't just pull. If Charlie and I here, are responsible for the nav lights, and I fucked it up. Well, they don't call Charlie to fix it, they call me to fix it.
And that's exactly how they do it. The M series boats have optional graphics are standard, but you can delete them if you want to. Another thing that we do here is every boat has a step that runs down on the side. So what that step's going to do for you, that introduces air into the bottom of the boat, creates a foamy, slippery surface underneath the bottom. What's that doing? That's reducing your hydrodynamic drag. Again, making the boat run smoother with less drag. It's going to be more efficient, more fuel efficient. You're going to have higher top end speeds and higher cruising speeds at lower RPMs. So also going to keep the boat running smoother in rough and smooth waters either way around. So coming around to the back of the boat, we're going to just jump over to the M65 because that's where we kind of want to go. With all of our M series boats are available with either stern drives or outboards. But what Monterey did when we went into the outboard market with these boats, they re-engineered or redesigned the boats to take the outboard. Okay, they didn't come in and cut a notch into the transom and mount the motor on top of it. They didn't mold in a bracket where you have a stainless steel gill bracket on the back of it. These boats were redesigned and re-engineered to take an outboard motor. So when you look down underneath the boat back here, you'll see the back of the boat ends here, and this integrated bracket design is molded right in. It's part of the boat itself. The stringers, which are the framework inside the boat, run all the way to the transom of the boat. So they're not stopping here, and then this is just an aluminum bracket. That's all fiberglass. That's all one piece. It's all part of the boat. A couple things that it does for you. It gets the propellers away from the boat. It allows you to raise the height of the X dimension of the propeller. So when you get the height of the X dimension of the propeller up, boat needs less water to run in. Boat's gonna be a little bit faster. It's gonna be, handle a little bit better because you got everything out and away from the bottom of the boat. This boat's got Lenco electric trim tabs on it that are an option. Since we're back here at the swim platform, one of the big features on the M65s and the M45s and the M22s and the 225s, all of the outboard powered boats, what happens when you put an outboard on the back of a sport boat? You lose the swim platform. Okay, Well, Monterey didn't want to lose the swim platform on the boat because, you know, the way we boat here at the Jersey Shore is 90% of our time is from the windshield back. 75% of our time is probably from halfway between the windshield and the back of the boat once you get where you're going. So, you know, having a swim platform is one of the most important features that you can have on a sport boat. So what we've gone ahead and done is they've carried, when they re-engineered this, they carried the swim platform all the way back and made it almost as wide as the entire boat. So it's almost a full beam swim platform, where when you look at a lot of our competition, they start cutting them in and twisting them into the boat. They actually elongated the boat by another almost 14 inches on the back to allow you to have a full swim platform without having any protrusion for a splash well or you know, having to take anything away from the back of the boat. Since we pulled this back, they've added 6-inch monogram pull-up Monterey cleats on here. So when you tie the boat up, you can actually crisscross them in the back and not have to have dock lines hanging over top of your motor, scuffing your motor up. So they did improve that on there. But since you have a full beam swim platform, it makes it real easy to go from one side of the boat to the other side of the boat. It makes it really easy to check your oil. Yeah, everything's right here. When you're flushing your motor out, you know, you're in the boat. You're not hanging over the edge. You're not sitting in a splash well. You're not, you know, dangling over the back. So, you know, from a maintenance standpoint, you know, it's really, really easy. You know, this boat's equipped with a 300 Mercury Verado. Now, these boats were designed for Mercury Verados. However, they are available with Yamaha if, you know, the buyer wanted to go with the Yamaha. We rig all of our